Chapter 14. Alpha. Chaotic Universe will resume the story in the normal universe. 10 days have passed since Chris's fight with Earon. The location is a hidden enclave within the Pyrenees Mountains of Spain. Gabriel is here working on his Shotokan karate techniques. This god tech could be a huge threat, but like the elemental masters, I know nothing about what they can do, said Gabriel as he kicked the humanoid training doll that he put together. He gets into his fighting stance. With his right arm he performs the chokuzuki, a straight punch, after he pulls his right arm back to the left side of his chest following the straight punch. He completes the combo with an Yurikanachi back fist strike. Going with them is not in my best interest. While Chris is possibly fighting another unknown enemy, I can continue to improve my techniques, Gabriel thought to himself. Gabriel sits down and gets into a meditative position. He goes into deep meditation. When Gabriel opens his eyes, Chigau stands in front of him. "Did you come here to challenge me, old man?" questioned Gabriel. He stands up. "No, I wish to speak with you. You are the most dominant of all the normal universe's fighters," Chigau answered. "Apparently not dominant enough to fight in your main event. Earon was afraid of me and avoided fighting against me in the main event," added Gabriel sarcastically. "I assure you that was not the case," Chigau replied confidently. Gabriel frowned. "If we were in the Andiron Universe right now, I would have electrocuted you to death for lying to my face," threatened Gabriel. Chigau laughs. "I'm not your enemy, but what about Chris? I could sense that the two of you have a little friction," Chigau responded. "Chris electrocuted me with a small weapon, embarrassing me in front of my friends. We also fought to a draw in the Drasil Universe," agreed Gabriel. "How ironic, electricity as a usable ability," Chigau remarked. Gabriel shakes his head. "I requested Darren grant me those abilities," revealed Gabriel. "It appears those two are still giving people anything they want as long as whoever it is suits their purpose," Chigau muttered. "How would you know anything about Darren and Iria?" questioned Gabriel. Chigau smirks. "You will find out in due time, but I am not here to talk about myself, I'm here to talk about you," Chigau replied. Gabriel laughs. "I'm surprised, you seem to be focused on Chris. He defeated Earon, not me," barbed Gabriel. "Chris defeated Earon because I allowed it," Chigau boomed. "Are you sure? Because it looked like Chris was about to finish him," shot Gabriel. "Anything could have happened in that moment, you know that," Chigau shot back. "So get to it, old man, tell me why you are here," Gabriel urged. "I am here to offer you membership in the Elemental Masters. After seeing you fight, the inhabitants of our island acknowledge you as a master," started Chigau. "I only fought because your collective taunted us," Gabriel responded. "Regardless of the circumstances, you are an alpha, the one true elemental master of electricity," continued Chigau. Gabriel glares at Chigau momentarily. "I will consider your offer, under the condition that Earon offers me the position personally," Gabriel proposed. "Lord Earon refuses to travel to your universe. If you want to meet with him you must travel to the Andiron Universe," informed Chigau. "Fine, I need to train my elemental techniques anyway. There are a couple of things I want to see there," Gabriel agreed as he started packing his belongings. Chigau and Gabriel promptly leave the Pyrenees Mountains. The story now shifts to the Drasil Universe. The location is the industrial zone. Brandi and SwitchFire are preparing to train. "Before we begin, I would like to know more about the Elemental Masters," Brandi requested. SwitchFire smiles at Brandi. "Their story is not mine to tell, but I can tell you my own," replied SwitchFire. "I can respect that," Brandi said as she nodded. "I am from the Tempe, Arizona of my universe. In my early life I studied karate. During a competition my fire abilities awakened," started SwitchFire. "I thought that humans of the Andiron Universe were born with their abilities?" Brandi inquired. "I was born with my fire abilities. Elemental abilities do not manifest themselves until a person is 10 to 17 years old, the years of puberty," informed SwitchFire. "Like a natural evolution, a gift of sorts," Brandi speculated. "It's only a gift if you can control it. When my abilities awakened I accidentally burned my opponent. I was 11 years old at the time," continued SwitchFire. "A gift and a curse," Brandi remarked. SwitchFire agrees. "My dojo didn't report me to the Elemental Peace Corps, but I was banned from the dojo. My parents who did not have elemental abilities feared me because of what I could do and gave me up for adoption, said SwitchFire solemnly. Sorry that you had to experience that, Brandi responded. It was for the best, added SwitchFire. How did you meet Earon? Brandi questioned. The EPC tagged me after I had an emotional outburst when my boyfriend broke up with me. I lost control of my abilities burning down the restaurant that we were dining in, started SwitchFire. That sounds like when my abilities awakened in the ancient zone when I was excited before my elemental training, Brandi recalled. After that, I went on the run. Chigau rescued me from an EPC raid of the elemental outlaw camp that I took refuge at. Following this, he took me to Earon, who claimed me as his ward. Chigau trained me and taught me how to control my abilities, continued SwitchFire. How did you become an elemental master? Brandi inquired. Fire masters are always brought to Earon's island. In order to become an elemental master, you must defeat my universe's top-rated fire master, and formally accept the position, answered SwitchFire. Doesn't sound like you had much of a choice, Brandi chimed in. I didn't. Earon and Chigau offered me protection from the EPC in exchange for my services. The joy of not worrying about my abilities causing an accident made that offer one that I couldn't refuse, informed SwitchFire. And they just let you leave? You don't think they are watching you? Brandi speculated. SwitchFire smiles. Yes, they let me leave, and trust me, I know they are watching me. He most likely sent Q and Dan, answered SwitchFire. Don't you want to know anything about me? Brandi suggested. I know enough about you, more than what I just told you, responded SwitchFire. How is that possible? Brandi questioned sharply. You will find out, but not from me. Let's get started. I only have 2 days left in your universe and I would like to enjoy them. I am a wanted woman in my universe after all, SwitchFire says as her dark flame aura starts to burn. SwitchFire glares at Brandi. You are a decent fighter, but your fire abilities are lacking, started SwitchFire. That's a fair assessment, Brandi replied. I will teach you how to more directly attack your opponent with your fire abilities. It will require a lot of concentration, announced SwitchFire. I'm ready, let's do this, Brandi said enthusiastically. Brandi's flaming aura burns orange. When you fought me, I used my superior technique, the running blaze. That technique is made possible by concentrating fire energy to burn more violently in a chosen body part, started SwitchFire. Brandi nodded. You can release the fire energy slowly or in a large burst. In my case, I released it slowly as I ran, setting fire to the area that my feet touched, continued SwitchFire. An impressive technique. You continued to control the flames as you fought me, Brandi complimented. Fire manipulation is mostly mental. You have to focus your mind and visualize where you want the flames to go, lectured SwitchFire. SwitchFire sets up a humanoid dummy and places it in front of where she and Brandi are standing. The best body part to transfer your fire energy to is your feet. They are already touching the ground. This will catch your opponent off guard, advised SwitchFire. What do you have in mind? Brandi inquired. That part is up to you. True masters of the elements always come up with their deadliest superior techniques on their own. Don't forget the advice that I just gave you, responded SwitchFire as she stepped back. Brandi's flaming aura starts to burn violently. Okay, you need to concentrate your fire energy and move all of it to only burn at your feet. What you do after that is your own, coached SwitchFire. Brandi faces the humanoid dummy. Brandi's aura grows in size. Her aura's temperature burns at 2,500 degrees. As she gets into her fighting stance, her flaming aura transfers to her lead foot. Brandi's lead foot glows bright orange. She raises that foot and stomps, creating a trail of flames that shoots straight forward. This is Brandi's new superior technique. The trail of flames makes contact with the humanoid dummy, instantly burning it. As the dummy continues to burn, SwitchFire walks up to Brandi. Nice execution, that is easily superior technique quality. What are you going to call it? Asked SwitchFire. Trailblazer, Brandi answered. I am confident that you have what it takes to become an undisputed fire master, complimented SwitchFire. What do you plan to do when you return to the Andiron Universe? Brandi questioned. I intend to aid other elementals who are having trouble controlling their abilities, evade the EPC, answered SwitchFire. I commend you for dedicating yourself to that cause. your past experiences will help you in that endeavor, Brandi replied. Don't congratulate me yet, I have one more thing to teach you before I leave, said SwitchFire as she looked at Brandi. Chaotic Universe will shift its focus back to the normal universe. In the normal universe, the location is the headquarters of God Tech in Northern Ireland. Mark, Oxford and Shane are preparing to study Alpha's past memories in the boardroom. They are going to watch them on a large flat screen that is mounted in the front of the room. Oxford takes a sip of his tea. Why is Alpha's behavior so crass and rude sometimes, yet proper and benevolent other times? Questioned Oxford. Alpha was a very capable warrior during the days of Julius Caesar, Shane answered. Oxford stands up and looks outside of the boardroom's windows. The Roman Republic era, that was before the Common Era. How did the company acquire such an ancient body? Inquired Oxford. Via auction, it is rumored that his body was found near the Temple of Caesar in 25 BCE. Legend says a Roman noble had his body frozen before his death so that he could serve Rome again in the future, Shane answered. Sounds like he was an important person in his time, added Oxford. Shane's laptop makes a confirmation sound. He was, not only that, he was believed to be the living image of the Roman god, Janus, Shane replied. Oxford smirks. He believed that he was a god, that is just perfect, he is the best suited for this exercise and its escalation, Oxford said enthusiastically. His memories are ready to be viewed, get comfortable, we are going to be here for a while, updated Shane. The following are AlterGod Alpha's memories. In the normal universe, the location is Palaepharsalis, Greece. The year is 48 BCE. Roman soldier Aurelius is preparing to go to battle. The powers that be in Rome are embroiled in a civil war that will determine its future. Pompey's forces have pursued Caesar's legions to the east near Thessaly, Greece. The battle, now known as the Battle of Pharsalus, is rumored to be the one that will shift the balance of power in the Roman Republic. Aurelius fights for the glory of Caesar. When the soldiers enter the battlefield, Pompey's forces were ordered not to charge Caesar's legions. Pompeian legions outnumber Caesar's legions by almost 2 times. With the enemy not advancing, the decision is made to advance on Pompey's forces in order to force their hand. The infantry advances, but their ranks are enhanced by cavalry forces mixed within the formation. This is meant to give Caesar's infantry the advantage in the early battle, while many of the citizen-born infantry are hesitant to move first during the stalemate. Aurelius directly charges first, sparking the battle. Aurelius kills about 50 Pompey soldiers before the heavy infantry and cavalry reinforce their attack. Aurelius is injured when Pompey's legions reform their ranks on the inside. He is quickly rescued by a member of the cavalry and taken back to Caesar's camp. When he awakens, he is greeted by Julius Caesar himself. He informs Aurelius that the Battle of Pharsalus was won. He commends Aurelius for being the first soldier to charge and that his bravery will be rewarded. He tells him that he will be sent back to Rome, where he will be given a wife and land to live on. Caesar says with Pompey fleeing to Egypt, he needs to establish a strong presence in Rome. He wants Aurelius to be a commander there. He is not given an option to decline. Present day. In the normal universe, the location is the headquarters of God Tech. Mark, Oxford and Shane are discussing the memories of AlterGod Alpha. He was not only a warrior, but he had ties to Julius Caesar. Fascinating, remarked Oxford. Caesar admired him, that may be the reason why he was buried near his tomb, Shane added. Wasn't Mark Antony his right-hand man? Questioned Oxford. Antony's role remained the same, he remained focused on the Roman Republic's eastern territories. Aurelius was tasked with eliminating any opposition to Caesar in the western territories, but for the most part he remained in Rome, Shane answered. From a citizen soldier to a hitman for one of the most powerful men in the world, sounds like a movie, joked Oxford. Believe it or not, he is just getting started. There is one more memory that I want you to see, Shane replied. Chaotic Universe now moves to the Andiron Universe. The location is alternate Manresa, España. España is known as the country of Spain in the normal universe. 10 days have passed in the Andiron Universe since Chris's fight with Earon. Before returning to Earon's island, Gabriel has requested to see where his alternate resides. I've seen this place in pictures before. We are in my family's home country, Gabriel said as he looked around. Chigau nodded. This is Manresa, your alternate resides here, informed Chigau. The two approach a farm nestled in the hills. Your alternate family should be coming out here to work shortly. We need to find a decent vantage point. It would be best if he does not see you here, Chigau continued. Chigau and Gabriel make their way to an area full of foliage and trees. So they are farmers. Does he have elemental abilities? Asked Gabriel as his static aura crackled and popped. No, Chigau responded. If he's here, that means, started Gabriel. Your alternate has never been to the United States. He has no knowledge of alternate Tanya or any of the others, Chigau interrupted. Gabriel smirks. That means the Chris of this universe doesn't know who I am, added Gabriel. I can sense your intent, Chigau boomed. Gabriel glares at Chigau. What will happen if we go to alternate Menifee and I kill him? Inquired Gabriel. Chigau quietly laughs. Nothing, the Chris of your universe will be unaffected. Both humans are not required to exist. Same with you and your alternate, Chigau answered. Alternate Gabriel's family lead their sheep out into the fields. Gabriel spots his alternate. What will happen if I kill him instead? Asked Gabriel as he remains focused on his alternate. You will have to remain in this universe for life, never to return to the normal universe, replied Chigau. I may consider that option someday, Gabriel said quietly. He has no knowledge of the universal struggle. He would be a useless kill. There is an additional option though, added Chigau. Let it out, old man, Gabriel demanded. If you can convince alternate Gabriel to go to the normal universe in your place, you could stay in this universe while retaining the ability to freely travel between the universes, informed Chigau. Chigau and Gabriel continue to watch alternate Gabriel from a distance. He looks exactly like me, he even walks like me, with a little work that could be possible, Gabriel speculated. My universe is visually the same as yours, that includes the people that inhabit them. Although the worlds and people look the same, not everything is the same. You will see that when we visit the alternate version of Menifee, said Chigau as he stood up. I've seen enough here, take me to alternate Menifee, Gabriel suggested. The story returns to the normal universe. The location is the headquarters of God Tech. Oxford and Shane are preparing to watch Alpha's memories of being Caesar's hitman. 48 BCE. Aurelius is living in Rome. His wife, Diana, has just given birth to a healthy baby boy. Aurelius has been successfully silencing uprisings caused by small pockets of Pompey loyalists. Aurelius and a group of soldiers are about to apprehend a rumored Pompey supporter. The Pompey supporter in question is hiding just outside of the city. Aurelius orders his men that any others inside of the surrounded building are to be killed on sight. He also orders that their main target be brought to him, and that harming this person would be considered treason. After sacking the village, the governor of the land is brought to Aurelius. The two have a loyalists exchange, ending with the governor telling Aurelius when the people finally bring Caesar to justice what will become of him. Aurelius beheads the governor and returns to Rome. Present day. In the normal universe. Again, Oxford and Shane discuss the memory that they just viewed. He left no stone unturned, complimented Oxford. He was very loyal. Caesar gave him the life that any citizen-born Roman would dream about, Shane added. Oxford leaned forward in his seat. Now I'm curious, what did happen to him after Caesar's untimely death? Asked Oxford. I anticipated your curiosity. I will show you one more memory which happens after Caesar's assassination, Shane updated. In the normal universe. The year is 42 BCE. Mark Antony has kept Aurelius and his family in Greece after he is forced to flee Rome. Antony tells Aurelius that the coming battle will decide if the second triumvirate will retake control of Rome. The Battle of Philippi, as it is now known, takes place. Aurelius leads the cavalry in following the infantry's charge forward, despite other setbacks in this liberator's civil war. Antony's legions are victorious over Cassius and his legions at the Battle of Philippi. Cassius and Brutus, key leaders of the so-called liberators, commit suicide in order to avoid capture. This victory is Antony's crowning achievement. Caesar's death was avenged. And the second triumvirate went on to control the Roman Republic. Antony honors Aurelius for his bravery by returning him and his family back to their land in Rome. Here Aurelius is given his old role, but is also named governor of multiple villages that surround Rome. Present day. It's amazing that Aurelius played a role in both Caesar and Antony's military careers, remarked Oxford. Indeed, despite his years as a soldier and a hitman, he lived a very comfortable life thanks to the first and second triumvirates, added Shane. Did he play a role in Antony's death? Oxford inquired. No, Aurelius remained in the vicinity of Rome, seemingly for the rest of his life, answered Shane. There was a lot of political unrest during his lifetime. Aurelius was able to improve his status in life regardless of who was in power. That kind of adaptability is invaluable, Oxford remarked. His tactics in battle were well respected, another reason why his body and mind were preserved, continued Shane. Now that I have a better understanding of his past, I think I may have a way to cater to his personality, Oxford speculated. What do you have in mind, Mr. Oxford? Asked Shane. People of his time believed him to be the Roman god Janus. He was a part of the start of the Roman Republic as well as the end of it. Sometimes truth really is stranger than fiction, Oxford replied. Although the AlterGods' memories are wiped clean, their personalities still remain. I had no choice but to include them in their mental programming, said Shane as he looked at the AlterGods' programming profiles. In order to keep Alpha stable, he must not know that he is human. In fact, all of them should not know, Oxford suggested. Shane stands up. I think I know what you are getting at, responded Shane. I want all of the AlterGods to believe that they are really gods. Edit their programming tonight and meet with me tomorrow, and bring Alpha with you, Oxford ordered. Shane immediately leaves the boardroom. In the Andiron Universe. 11 days have passed since Chris's fight with Earon in the Andiron Universe. 12 days have passed in the normal universe. The location is alternate Menifee. Chigau and Gabriel are at a coffee shop next to the offices of the local newspaper. They call this place Paloma, but it looks just like home, said Gabriel as he looked around. Physically it is, but it is still unlike the Menifee that you know, Chigau informed. Gabriel took a sip of his coffee. Chris was pretty tight-lipped about his trip here. What was he hiding? Inquired Gabriel. The Angela of this universe died in a car accident at the age of 6, Chigau started. So no Angela, what about alternate Daniel? Asked Gabriel. He does not reside here, he as well has no knowledge of any of the others, Chigau answered. This Tanya must be different from mine, speculated Gabriel. She is, thanks to her work on her final project for journalism. She was awarded an internship at the newspaper offices here. She comes to this coffee shop at the same time every day to pick up coffee for the staff there. She should show up in a couple of minutes, Chigau informed. Gabriel nodded. So my group has no connection to each other here. What about alternate Chris? Questioned Gabriel. I knew that you would ask about him. Don't get too excited, he isn't here. Chris's alternate graduated from high school and went to college out of state on a basketball scholarship, answered Chigau. Interesting, what about the others? Gabriel inquired. Anna's alternate lives here in alternate Menifee, but she does not know alternate Chris, alternate Brandi, and alternate Duran. Alternate Brandi's location is unknown, but she has been confirmed alive. Alternate Duran never left following he and alternate Chris's sophomore year. That is a huge reason why the defenders' relationships differ here. He went off to college along with alternate Chris after graduating, responded Chigau. Ironic that only those two's friendship exists in this universe, Gabriel said before taking another sip of coffee. It is their path here, the flow of the universes, added Chigau. Alternate Tanya walks into the coffee shop and places her order. Wow, she is exactly like the Tanya of my universe, Gabriel whispered. You may talk to her, but you cannot affect her role in this universe. Do not mention the universal struggle or anything about another universe. What you say could affect the Tanya that you know, advised Chigau. Gabriel stands up and walks toward alternate Tanya, who is waiting for her order. Alternate Tanya smiles at Gabriel. Sorry to bother you, but you look familiar, said Gabriel as he looked at alternate Tanya. That's funny, I don't recall seeing you here in Paloma before. Do you go to school here? Alternate Tanya responded. I just moved here, and I already like what I'm seeing, replied Gabriel. Gabriel looks into alternate Tanya's eyes. She laughs. Are you hitting on me? Alternate Tanya questioned. Absolutely, but I'm sure a beautiful girl like you has a boyfriend, answered Gabriel. Tanya sighs. I thought that I did, apparently I was only a one-time thing for him on his way out of town, alternate Tanya said solemnly. Sorry to hear that, he sounds like a dirtbag, added Gabriel. Unfortunately, I did not know Chris very well. One day about 3 months ago I felt the most magnetic connection to him. Alternate Tanya started. That's around the time that the Chris I know came to this universe. He must have interacted with her, Gabriel thought to himself. That day he invited me to his basketball game after we had a small discussion. Alternate Tanya continued. What happened after that? Inquired Gabriel. When his game was over, I approached him but he acted as if he had no knowledge of inviting me. His girlfriend Crystal was furious, but she allowed us to talk out our misunderstanding and I once again told him how I felt, Tanya answered. At one point he must have felt the same way that you did, remarked Gabriel. Honestly, I don't even know why I'm telling you all of this. You are a complete stranger, Alternate Tanya said as she grabbed her order. Alternate Tanya once again smiled at Gabriel and turned around to exit the coffee shop. Don't let that Chris guy get you down. You will become a great woman someday, no matter how you do it, encouraged Gabriel. Alternate Tanya kisses Gabriel on the cheek. Thank you, welcome to Paloma. I hope that I see you around sometime. Nice meeting you, Alternate Tanya replied. Alternate Tanya leaves the coffee shop. Gabriel stands there gazing at Alternate Tanya as she walked into the newspaper's office. Chigau walks up to Gabriel. If I didn't know any better, I would think that you have a crush on your friend Tanya, remarked Chigau. Chigau and Gabriel exit the coffee shop. That wasn't the Tanya I know. Me and her have always been just friends, Gabriel said as he started walking. I saw the way you looked at her, and I can sense your feelings for her. She may not be your Tanya, but in that moment you felt like she was, added Chigau. Gabriel's static aura crackled and popped. Don't push me, old man, Gabriel threatened. Very well, we have a flight to catch. I have informed Earon of our imminent arrival, updated Chigau. Chigau and Gabriel catch a cab to the airport. Chaotic Universe will return the story to the normal universe. 13 days have passed since Chris's fight with Earon. The location is Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Chris, Duran, Anna, Tanya, Daniel, and Angela are wrapping up an early morning of physical training. They return to their private villa for brunch. Darren and Iria appear. We were wondering when you two would show up again, remarked Daniel. Did you come here with more about God Tech? Chris questioned. Yes, answered Darren. Brandi walks into the room and sits next to Duran. You're back, Anna said as she hugged Brandi. Iria looked at Brandi. Welcome back. I assume that your trip to the Drasil Universe went as planned, speculated Iria. It did. SwitchFire helped me develop a new superior technique, and a physical technique as well, Brandi confirmed. Did she tell you anything interesting? Questioned Anna. In fact she did. When SwitchFire returns to the Andiron Universe, she plans to help elementals who can't control their abilities evade the EPC, Brandi answered. Well, we are all glad that you are safe, added Duran. The others agree with him. Do you two know where Gabriel is? Tanya inquired. We do, but we cannot tell you where he is. That is his business, started Iria. Once again I will remind you all that Gabriel is choosing his own path. None of us have the right to interfere with that, Darren continued. Tanya nodded. Now that you mention Gabriel, when we were traveling to the North Pole, we saw a mysterious dome while we were in the sky viewing room. I wonder if God Tech has anything to do with what we saw, added Chris. That dome you saw is the creation of Mark Oxford, Iria started. It is known as the Alter Dome. It is said to have the ability to simulate the energy and nature of the Andiron Universe, continued Darren. That means... Brandi started. Elemental abilities would be usable inside of the dome. That's impossible, interrupted Chris. This isn't beyond God Tech's scope, and the way technology is advancing he might have experienced a breakthrough, Tanya reminded. Since the dome can simulate the Andiron Universe, you need to train your elemental abilities before going to Northern Ireland, advised Darren. We have knowledge of investors from around the world descending upon God Tech's headquarters for an event, Iria added. We expect the event will take place within the next 2 weeks. You will need to be ready around then, finished Darren. In the meantime, I can transport you anywhere that you wish to go in this universe, Iria informed. Darren and Iria disappear. I'm sorry, but I can't stop thinking about Gabriel, Tanya said apologetically. I don't blame you, he hasn't called or sent an email, added Angela. Daniel hugged Tanya. Don't forget about his high fighting ability. He actually killed his opponent in the Andiron Universe. I'm sure he is fine, Daniel assured. Either way, we need to focus on God Tech. They are a lot closer and they pose more of a threat to us than the Elemental Masters do right now, urged Earon. The others agree. Chris holds Anna's hand. Myself and Anna intend to go to the Drasil Universe and train together, announced Chris as he smiled at Anna. We are going to remain here in Rio. To continue physical training, we will join you in the Drasil Universe the day after tomorrow, Tanya said as she looked at Daniel and Angela. Daniel and Angela nod in agreement. Earon has agreed to accompany me to Guam, so I can visit my grandmother, started Brandi. We will meet up in the Drasil Universe with you guys the day after tomorrow as well, Earon continued. The 6 present in the room acknowledge what was said. Let's enjoy the rest of this day. Remember to stay safe and keep training. We are officially on the clock, Chris said as he started to eat. The story will now shift to Northern Ireland. The location is Mark Oxford's personal office in the headquarters of God Tech. Mark Oxford is on a morning conference call announcing his company's future products for the upcoming fiscal year. Geographic on-demand technology is dedicated to the future, because the future is now, announced Oxford. He starts his presentation. An experimental version of our worldwide AI security will debut using facial recognition cameras. We are rolling out the first 50 in the United States 2 months from now, Oxford started. The presentation moves to the last topic. God Tech will also release a beta version of our virtual reality headsets for home video game markets this fall. I look forward to receiving feedback about these products soon. This concludes the fiscal year preview, finished Oxford. He ends the conference call. Shane walks into Oxford's office. I hope that I am not interrupting anything important, Shane said as he stood in front of Oxford's desk. Don't be daft, this is more important than anything, my dream come to life, replied Oxford. Shane sits in the office chair slightly behind where Oxford sits. We are honored by your presence, Shane shouted. A man that stands about 6 feet 2 inches appears in front of Oxford and Shane. That is our call to him, you say that and he will appear, informed Shane. Oxford stands up from his seat. How did he appear here like that? Oxford questioned. He initiated teleportation from the Altar Dome. Once here he can't teleport back, answered Shane. Makes sense, tell me about the changes you have made to his mental programming, Oxford ordered. 6 days ago. In the normal universe. The location is the headquarters of God Tech. Shane and a team of scientists are in the laboratory. Mark Oxford walks into the laboratory and puts on a lab coat. Is it time, questioned Oxford. Shane continues to look at the computer. Theoretically, it is, Shane answered. Oxford frowned. Enough stalling, the Alpha project must culminate today. We have other Alter projects to begin this year, boomed Oxford. He needs more time, Shane pleaded. We don't have the benefit of time. This universe's fighters have already started training their abilities, and most importantly are aware of me in this universe, explained Oxford. Shane hits the enter key. Got it, commence the awakening for the Alpha project, Shane ordered. The team of scientists scrambled to their posts. Raise Stasis Pod Alpha into position, commanded Oxford. Stasis Pod Alpha raises and is turned toward the lasers mounted above the pod. Begin Phase 1, Oxford shouted. Shane once again hits the enter key. Phase 1 melting the ice underway, updated Shane. The lasers begin melting the ice that surrounds the stasis pod. The melted ice reveals a face. Proceed to Phase 2. Oxford ordered. Shane is typing, he hits the enter key. Phase 2 memory analysis, commencing now, informed Shane. Oxford looks at the main screen. This better work, it is by far the most expensive project this company has ever supported, Oxford said as he looked at Shane. An alarm starts to sound within the lab. What's going on? Questioned Oxford. Shane is furiously typing on the keyboard. One of his memories are causing a problem with the memory analysis. I'm working on a fix right now, Shane assured. The sound of the alarm intensifies. Is it an isolated memory? Asked Oxford. Shane remains focused on the screen. Yes, but we don't know what it is. If it remains in his mind he may become unstable, Shane warned. Oxford looked over at the stasis pod holding AlterGod Alpha. Bypass it, if it becomes a problem we can fix it later, ordered Oxford. Are you sure, Mr. Oxford? Shane inquires. Oxford glares at Shane. Do it, or I will, boomed Oxford. The bypass prompt appears on the screen. Shane hits the enter key. The alarm that was ringing goes silent. Proceed with Phase 3, Oxford directed. Phase 3, awaken and activate, updated Shane. The entire laboratory glows a bright gold. The stasis pod is surrounded by smoke. The pod opens as the smoke clears. A man standing 6 feet 2 inches steps out of the pod. The team of scientists lay pieces of armor at his feet. He puts the armor on. Mark, Oxford and Shane stand in front of the now awakened AlterGod Alpha. He stares at Oxford and Shane. Who are the two of you? Questioned Alpha. I am Mark, Oxford, the CEO and owner of God Tech. He is my assistant Shane. We are your handlers, Oxford responded. You? My handlers? Someone dressed as silly as the two of you could never be above someone like me. You must be citizen-born, replied Alpha haughtily. Alpha looks around the lab. What are all of these shiny objects? What land are we on? Alpha inquired. You are in Northern Ireland, and this is the birthplace of the AlterGods, answered Oxford. Alpha frowns. I know nothing of this land that you speak of. The only birthplace of any god is Rome, and I demand that you take me there immediately, Alpha ordered. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be returning to the Rome that you left, started Shane. It is merely a city in the country of Italy, Oxford continued. Alpha laughs. Rome is an empire, and much more than a mere city, boomed Alpha. It was. Oxford shot back. What do you mean was? I demand to know what year it is, silly man, yelled Alpha. The year is not important, and you are in no position to make demands, Oxford replied as he glared at Alpha. Is that so? Take me to Rome now, or I will kill you and have the little man next to you do it instead, demanded Alpha. He now stands nose to nose with Oxford. While Alpha and Oxford are locked in a stare-down, Shane slips over to the main computers. Alpha attempts to strike Oxford, but his fist stops in front of Oxford's face. Alpha's arm falls lifeless as his body is standing in place. Shane returns to Oxford's side. What the hell was that? Questioned Oxford as he stepped away from the lifeless Alpha. The memory that we bypassed must have been enough for him to remember his heritage. I shut his mental programming down in order to stop him just now, Shane responded. We need a more remote way to initiate that shutdown process, if this happens again, advised Oxford. Shane looks in the direction of the still shocked scientists. You heard the man, get moving, Shane ordered. The team of scientists leave the laboratory. His mental programming is based upon his personality. We cannot remove anything at this stage, we can only add to it, informed Shane. What do we do with him? Oxford inquired. I have another team on their way here, they will take him to the Alterdome, replied Shane. This needs to be fixed as soon as possible, Oxford said as he sat down. Shane sits in front of the main computer. The only way we can fix this is if we analyze his memories manually, and find a way to cater to his personality, suggested Shane. Oxford stands up. I'll leave you to it, inform me when his memories are ready for viewing, Oxford said as he left the laboratory. Present day. We rejoin Mark, Oxford, Shane and the reawakened Alpha in Oxford's office. Shane hands Oxford a small control device. Press the green button and he will fully activate, the red button will shut him down, suggested Shane. Oxford looks at the device. Just remember, he now believes that he is a living god. To keep him stable we have to act like we serve him, Shane added. Oxford pressed the green button. Alpha's eyes open. His eyes glow gold. Shane and Oxford are praising Alpha as a true god. There are humans that threaten your existence. We are honored to serve you and assist you in cleansing this inferior world, Oxford said as he looked at Alpha. Pictures of Chris, Anna, Duran, Brandi, Tanya, Daniel and Angela appear on the big screen. Alpha slowly walks over to the big screen. They look a little young to be warriors, remarked Alpha. Don't let their appearances fool you, they are able to use godlike elemental abilities, Oxford warned. Godlike you say, where are these humans now? Questioned Alpha. The best part is you don't have to worry about it, Shane answered. We took the liberty of luring them here, so that you can eliminate them out at Oxford. When will these opposers arrive? Alpha asked. About 12 days from now. We have already started preparations in your honor, responded Shane. But you won't be doing it alone, we have a legion for you, Oxford informed. Beta, Delta, Gamma, Epsilon, and Zeta walk into Oxford's office and stand in front of Alpha. They give Alpha the Roman salute. I welcome any human who dares to challenge me. After I defeat them I will remind them that I am the one, true, Alpha, declared Alpha as his eyes glow gold. In the Andiron Universe, Gabriel and Chigau have arrived on Earon's island. 13 days have passed since Chris's fight with Earon in the Andiron Universe. 14 days have passed since Chris's fight with Earon in the normal universe. Chigau is leading Gabriel to the palace to meet with Earon. You know a lot for someone who calls another man his lord, remarked Gabriel. At my age you tend to know more than others, Chigau responded. I meant about the universes and the people in them, corrected Gabriel. We monitor the alternates, to see if we can find a connection with their normal counterparts, Chigau informed. I don't get it, the people in this universe are the same, replied Gabriel. You already saw and heard, that is not the case, the less connected that your alternates are, the more connected that Tanya and the others become, Chigau elaborated. So events that happen here can affect my universe, responded Gabriel. Chigau continued walking ahead. Partially, your universe can only be affected by universal travel, by way of a universal counterpart interacting inappropriately with the other universe's native human, Chigau informed. Chris. He interacted with alternate Tanya when he came here. Is that why Tanya has changed her stance on him in the normal universe? Inquired Gabriel. He did interact with her, but he only set into motion the brief romance between alternate Chris and alternate Tanya, Chigau answered. Did he change anything? Asked Gabriel. Not on purpose, him inviting her to the basketball game opened a dialogue for romance, which from what you see in your universe was not her intended path, Chigau responded. I don't even want to know what was affected in my universe, said Gabriel as he looked at Chigau. It is out of your hands, some of the affected events have already happened, with more to come, Chigau speculated. What about me interacting with her? Did I change anything? Wondered Gabriel. Definitely not, your encouraging words probably did more to keep her on her intended path than negatively affect it. She will remember it as a chance encounter with a stranger, Chigau assured. Chigau and Gabriel arrive at the gates of Earon's palace. The gates slowly open. Gabriel is instantly surrounded by inhabitants of the island. They are cheering his arrival. As Chigau and Gabriel enter the palace, the crowd continues to chant Denki, the Japanese word for electricity. Earon greets Chigau and Gabriel. Welcome, Gabriel of the normal universe, you are now the one true elemental master of electricity, and the alpha of the universes, announced Earon. Earon, Gabriel, and Chigau walk into a meeting room, closing the door behind them. With the awakening of Alpha, the stage is set for the original 8 to investigate God Tech. The chapter opens with Chigau visiting Gabriel while he is training in Spain. He offers Gabriel membership in the Elemental Masters. Gabriel considers the offer under the condition that Earon offers him the position in person. Chigau tells him that he must go to the Andiron Universe to make that happen. Brandi and SwitchFire are in the Drasil Universe preparing to train. Brandi requests to know more about the Elemental Masters. SwitchFire, who is no longer affiliated with them, declines but does tell Brandi her own life story, up to the present. After receiving advice about fire energy, Brandi develops a new superior technique. Trailblazer, a fire energy blast that burns straight forward at a rapid speed. This technique is made possible by concentrating all fire energy to burn fiercely in her lead foot. At the headquarters of God Tech, Shane and Oxford are about to watch the past memories of AlterGod Alpha. The content of their conversation reveals that Alpha has already been awakened. While watching Alpha's memories, they discover that he was a citizen-born soldier in one of Caesar's legions, going by the name Aurelius. After an act of bravery during an important battle, he is awarded land and a wife, and remains in Rome to protect the interests of Caesar in that region. Chigau and Gabriel have arrived in the Andiron Universe. They are in alternate Spain because Gabriel wishes to lay eyes on his alternate. He flirts with the idea of going to alternate Menifee and killing alternate Chris, since he would not know who he is. Chigau shoots this idea down, telling him that it would not affect the Chris of the normal universe, being that both are not required to exist at the same time. Gabriel wonders what would happen if he killed his alternate self instead. Chigau informs him that if he does, he would have to remain in the Andiron Universe for life. That is an important part of the flow of the universes. After this, Gabriel requests that Chigau take him to alternate Menifee. Oxford and Shane are again watching the past memories of AlterGod Alpha. In this memory, he serves as Julius Caesar's hitman. He ends a rebellion brewing just outside of Rome. Oxford is curious about what happened to Alpha following Caesar's death. Shane shows him another memory. With Caesar assassinated, Alpha and his family are forced to flee Rome. Alpha is involved in another battle, this time in Greece. Now aligned with Mark Antony, they oppose the so-called liberators, Cassius and Brutus. Alpha leads the cavalry to victory at the Battle of Philippi. With Cassius and Brutus dead, Antony and the Second Triumvirate are free to rule the Roman Republic. Antony rewards Alpha by returning he and his family back to their land in Rome, where he lived for the rest of his life. Oxford decides that Alpha and the other AlterGods should be programmed to believe that they really are gods. The next day begins in the Andiron Universe with Chigau and Gabriel in a coffee shop awaiting the arrival of alternate Tanya in the alternate version of Menifee. While they wait, Chigau explains to Gabriel the differences between the alternate versions of the original 8 and their normal counterparts, further expanding upon the flow of the universes. When alternate Tanya arrives, Gabriel talks to her briefly. After he hits on her, alternate Tanya not only reveals the result of Chris interacting with her in his alternate's place, but the aftermath as well. Alternate Tanya attempts to leave, but Gabriel encourages her before she does. After this, Gabriel agrees to finally head to Earon's island. In the normal universe, the remaining members of the original 8 wrap up another round of physical training. When they return to their villa, they are joined by Darren and Iria. Shortly after their arrival, Brandi returns from the Drasil Universe. After Tanya asks about Gabriel, Chris reveals that when they traveled to the Universal Travel Point, he and Gabriel saw a strange dome off of the coast of Northern Ireland. Darren and Iria inform them that what the two of them saw is Mark Oxford's creation, the Alter Dome. It can simulate the Andiron Universe and its being, meaning that the elemental abilities that are usable there can be used within the dome. Despite some doubt about this information, the remaining members of the original 8 are advised to train their elemental techniques. After Darren and Iria's exit, they announce how each of them intend to prepare. Chris and Anna plan to go to the Drasil Universe and train. Brandi wishes to visit her grandmother in Guam. Duran agrees to accompany her. Tanya wants to continue to train Daniel and Angela in Rio. Brandi, Duran, Tanya, Daniel, and Angela agree to meet Chris and Anna in the Drasil Universe in 2 days. Our final visit to God Tech sees Shane arrive with Alpha appearing shortly following. The story flashes back to about a week before that moment. AlterGod Alpha is being awakened. Despite Shane's pleas for more time to perfect his mental programming, Oxford demands they push forward. During the memory analysis phase, one of Alpha's past memories causes an error because his mind will not forget it. The process cannot go forward unless that memory is bypassed, which will remain in his mind post-awakening. Oxford orders Shane to bypass the memory. Shane does what he is ordered. Alpha awakens, but he behaves the opposite of the previously awakened AlterGods. He talks down to Shane and Oxford, and threatens to kill Oxford if he does not return him to Rome immediately. Shane, who is mostly ignored by Alpha, makes his way to the main computer. Before Alpha can strike Oxford, Shane shuts him down. Oxford determines that all of the AlterGods should possess no humanity, and truly believe that they are living gods. In order to keep Alpha stable, the two agree to act as if they serve Alpha. When we return to the present, Shane gives Oxford a control device. With this device, he can activate or shut down Alpha at will. He activates Alpha. Oxford and Shane praise him. They tell him that his existence as a god is threatened by those who can use godlike elemental abilities. He is shown the original 8 - Gabriel, Oxford tells Alpha that he will lure them there so that he can eliminate them. He then brings in Beta, Delta, Gamma, Epsilon, and Zeta, and introduces them as Alpha's personal legion. In the Andiron Universe, Chigau and Gabriel arrive on Earon's island. While traveling to the palace, Gabriel questions how Chigau knows so much about the people of both universes. Chigau explains that the normal universe's humans can be affected by interactions with alternate counterparts. This confirms Gabriel's suspicion that Chris's interaction with alternate Tanya has affected the events that have taken place following that. The chapter nears to close with the two arriving at the palace. The inhabitants of the island cheer Gabriel's arrival. Earon meets them and the three enter a meeting room ending the chapter. Will Oxford and Shane be able to control Alpha? How will the AlterGods behave now that they truly believe they are living gods? Can Tanya prepare Daniel and Angela in time for their arrival in Northern Ireland? What awaits Brandi and Earon in Guam? Chris and Anna will train their elemental abilities in the Drasil Universe. What will they learn there? Will Gabriel accept Earon's offer to join the Elemental Masters? In the next chapter, members of the original 8 will be in all 3 universes at the same time for the first time, with 2 weeks to prepare for whatever will occur in Northern Ireland. Will they all converge in time to arrive at the Alterdome? These questions and more will be answered in the next chapter of Chaotic Universe. End of chapter 14.